There are a lot of remarkable games this year, so please note that the GameSpot team put a lot of thought and consideration in what we believe is the best games of 2019. So here's a list of the top 10 games of the year from the very passionate people who love them a lot.
Don't shoot!
Get down!
When the original Resident Evil 2 released in 1998, it was heralded as a masterpiece in survival horror. However, all future Resident Evil games since have slowly been removing the creeping zombies and going for a more action route. Resident Evil 2 2019 is noteworthy for being an excellent remake of the original game, but what truly elevates it is how it uses modern tech and design to improve upon the original game. Zombie behavior is both unpredictable and terrifying, and Mr. X is no longer relegated to simple scripted sequences, but now stalks you relentlessly in a way that rivals even Nemesis. And that is one of the few reasons why Resident Evil 2 is one of our favorite games of 2019.
Round 1. Beginning ring countdown.
Oh, haven't we landed yet?
The battle begins. May the gods bless you.
I don't fear anything. Can you say the same?
Apex Legends is a great battle royale because Respawn understands the niche that it wants to fill. Everything about this game is to better the understanding of a team-based, squad-based shooter. The shooting mechanics are great, and the sliding adds a nice speed to the combat, but better than anything else, the ping system, the respawn mechanics, and the character's unique tactical and ultimate abilities allow you to customize the loadout of the team that you're trying to form and do different types of strategies during the game. No other battle royale is doing anything quite like this, and the fact that Respawn kind of jumped into this niche with unprompted is really cool, and it created a game that was perfectly playable the day it came out. And that's why Apex Legends is one of GameSpot's top 10 games of 2019.
Get ready. I'm coming for you, friend.
Attention. Winner decided. You are the Apex champions.
I did it, Papa. I hope wherever you are, you're cheering for me.
Sekiro is one of our favorite games of 2019 because across the board, from story to characterization to gameplay especially, it's one of the most fine-tuned, expertly crafted, exciting games of the year. More importantly, however, it's a game that challenges the players, not just through combat, which it is known to do, but through the expectations of what a From Software game is. It's a reminder that From Software can still make exciting, scary, and thought-provoking games. It's a game that explores death in a meaningful way, and that's something that From Software games have always had, the idea of life and death. However, this is the first time it truly tackles that head on. When all said and done though, Sekiro has one of the sharpest combat systems, not only of the year, but perhaps of all time, and it's that, along with the other story and characterization stuff, that makes it one of our favorite games of the year.
忍びよ、目覚めてください。あなたの主のために。
I'm scared. They'll find us when it gets dark.
I won't ask again. Where is your son?
A Plague Tale: Innocence is a meticulously crafted adventure with surprises around each and every corner. While there are many great things about this game, one of the standouts are its characters. By the time the credits roll, you really feel like you know Amicia and Hugo. And A Plague Tale isn't just a pretty picture. The further you get, the more involved the combat and puzzles get. By the end, it is a really satisfying action-adventure game with some really cool puzzle elements. Due to these reasons and many more, A Plague Tale is easily one of our favorite games of 2019.
Outer Wilds is one of those games that makes you see every other game differently. At any point while you're exploring this handcrafted solar system, there are like 4 or 5 complex mechanics happening right under your feet, whether it's gravity itself on each individual planet or the orbit of that meteor over there that's going to eventually affect something you learn later. And also that learning itself is just fun and it's rewarding and it's impactful, and you could beat the game right away, but it's structured so cleverly to reflect something like Groundhog Day or Majora's Mask, and you're going through these time loops, and the more you learn and the more you understand this universe, the more dangerous the solar system becomes, but also just the more rewarding it is to explore. The way that it just sticks the landing in this really far out sci-fi story makes it even better than it already would be.
One of the best things about Fire Emblem Three Houses is how it brings all of its different parts together to make something bigger. So you have the combat, which is excellent in the Fire Emblem tradition, turn-based, tactical, thinking 3, 4, 5 steps ahead. And then you have the characters, and I think one of the best things Three Houses does is slowly draws you into them bit by bit with the different social levels you can reach with them. And as their professor, you're not romancing them, you're mentoring them, you're getting to know them as individuals and watch them grow, and that investment brings you much closer to them. And then you have the school life stuff, and that kind of rounds it all together. You're investing in your students' skills to make them better in combat, and on top of that, you're getting even more drawn in and invested in the people that they become. And that's why Three Houses is so hard to put down and undeniably had to be one of GameSpot's top 10 games of 2019.
Reach for my hand, I'll soar away into the dawn. No, I wish I could stay here and cherish hope in peaceful days. I fear the edge of dawn, knowing time betrays.
Even just looking at Control is enough to fall in love with it. It uses these brutal, edgy, hard surfaces and this huge building that's constantly transforming in front of your eyes. You're not a crazy superhero, you're just a person who's got a little bit of levitation and a bit of movement in the air, but there's something about doing that, firing your gun, using like Jedi Force powers, it all just works so well and flows almost seamlessly. And I know, it's always good to sort of have a resolution to stories or really understand everything that's happening in the world so you can feel totally invested in it. But Control likes to just dangle that one thing you can't quite figure out right in front of you. It's a game that you just can't stop thinking about, and honestly, if you want, you can kind of go on the internet and really dive deep into subjects it plays with. We simply love Control for all of those reasons, but because it's a game that really resonated with us as a team. We honestly think it's one of the best games of 2019.
There you are. You are here about the job.
No, it's gone. 3 times gone, and never coming back. You failed. You failed me.
Disco Elysium is one of the most unique games I've ever played. At its core, it's a detective RPG that happens to be written absolutely spectacularly. It's heartbreaking, it's hilarious, it's completely off the wall and strange, and yet despite being pulled in so many different directions, it manages to tell such a compelling and engrossing story and also have a very intelligent commentary about the way the world works, about politics and society, but probably most importantly, psychology. The things that the game has to say about how our pasts, particularly the past of the protagonist, how his past defines him, how that's affecting his present, and the changes that he can make as he moves forward into the game to decide who he wants to be in the future, are not only interesting in the game, but they're interesting in a relatable sense. Disco Elysium is so intelligent about how it delivers its story and messages. It is a completely unmissable experience.
Thanks for hearing me out and giving me counsel.
Oh, help me! Oh, Lord!
Here we go!
The Outer Worlds isn't 2019's most genre-defying game by any stretch. Now that doesn't mean it's still not an exceptionally made game. It's really, really focused, and it does what it sets out to do extremely well. This is your world. It's a world where there are no black and whites. Everything seems grey. Every little quest, every side quest, every main quest, every approach to a skirmish, you could take on in a number of different ways. You can talk your way out, you can sneak your way through, you can hack your thing, you can hit a thing, you can shoot a thing, you can kill everyone, you know? Like, this is the kind of game that this is, and it feels so liberating to have so many options at your disposal. And the thing that really sticks with you, long after you finish the game, is the writing of the characters. Every NPC, and especially the companions, are so well written, not a single line of dialogue feels wasted. And that's why Outer Worlds, despite being, you know, a genre game, really sticks with you and like really makes an impact. It's something that I wasn't expecting coming into it, but I'm really glad that I played it, and I hope you do too.
Out of my way!
Once there was an explosion, a bang which set a planet spinning in that space. Once there was an explosion, a bang which gave rise to life as we know it. And then came the next explosion.
After Metal Gear Solid 5, a lot of people were very curious about what Hideo Kojima was going to be able to do with Death Stranding. And ultimately, when we got our hands on the game, it proved to be actually one of the most exceptional games this year. This is a game about sort of forming connections with not only the characters in the world, but also like other people who are playing. Through the game's sort of social strand system, everything you do makes a difference. Like, those little things kind of contribute to this general cohesion of the world that is just so endearing and so infectious. There's something about being able to feel like you're serving and helping people out in the world that makes Death Stranding an exceptional experience, not only just because of how crazy and odd it is, but how utterly optimistic it is. Certainly, because of those qualities, this Death Stranding is one of our favorite games this year.
Of these incredible games, we here at GameSpot decided that the game of the year goes to Sekiro: Shadows Die Twice. As Tamura Hussein put so eloquently, across the board from story to characterization to the gameplay especially, it's one of the most fine-tuned, expertly crafted, exciting games of the year. When all is said and done, it has one of the sharpest combat systems of all time. If you're interested in a more in-depth discussion as to why we think Sekiro is the game of the year, make sure to check a video out where Tamora Hussein, Mike Mahardy, Lucy James, and Jacob Decker talk all about it. A link to that will be in the description below. In the meantime, let's see what 2020 brings us. Anyways, thanks for watching. Till next time.